All right, so let's see if this one works a lot better. Made a couple tweaks. And we'll see if this is going to be a better streaming experience for everybody. Because the last one was all right, but still pretty jittery. And definitely want to smooth that out. Battery switch on. Pick it up. Avionics 1. Fuel boost. Starter. It's always really interesting to me how easy this is to start. Especially when you hit the right buttons. I saw ignition, I turned it on. I was looking for the starter. Looks like all the engine instruments are stabilized. We can move on. Kick off the starter. Fuel boost. And avionics 2.
LaGuardia Airport information, Kilo 1900 Zulu. Wind to tree at 5. Visibility 10. Sky condition, few clouds at 9,700 feet. Temperature 8. Dew point 10. Altimeter 30.15. ILS runway 22 in use. Landing and departing runway 22. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Kilo. LaGuardia Airport information, Kilo.
Ground Aurora 7-1 request taxi for south departure with Kilo.
Aurora 7-1 taxi to and hold short of runway 22 via taxiway Zulu Bravo Mike Cross runway tree 1 Romeo. Contact tower on 118.7 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 22 via taxiway Zulu Bravo, Mike Cross runway tree 1 Romeo Aurora 7-1. Ground Aurora 7-1 requesting pushback.
Aurora 7-1 pushback request accepted.
with the prop running. This guy's equipment to be scattered all over the tarmac. That's funny. This is neat though. I've never seen this before. Just take a peek at it from outside. Right about now the sparks are flying. That's pretty cool. was essentially a recording test. I got with some guys to over my OBS things just to make sure everything was optimized and get a better recording experience and streaming experience on the road. And give a couple suggestions that hopefully will help. We'll see here in a minute. That includes with light. So one thing I want to do, we'll switch back to 2D. Start this injector right here. Get this fired up. So what this does, this injects real aircraft into the sim. And so there they are. So they weren't there before, so we have Delta, JetBlue, JetBlue just coming out. I've never done this before, so we should see. Yo! Why am I way out here?
Ground Aurora 7-1 requesting the end of pushback.
Aurora 7-1 request to end pushback received.
Turn that off. I couldn't need that either. Alright, so we're far enough back. That's really neat. We'll head that way and check it out. Seven 675. Quite certain. Yeah, so with his routing, we should be going along some of the most graphically demanding terrain in sections of the United States. So if we get smooth recording here, then we should get smooth recording damn near everywhere. Clouds, there's buildings everywhere, so we should definitely be good. Delta, American, Continental, some JetBlue, Frontier, Omni. I mean, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, but even now, so like it doesn't use the sim time to generate the AI aircraft flights. It uses the real aircraft that are out and about right now, and it's like 12:30, something like that at night. So normally we'd hold short, but we've got permission to taxi across. Utilizing the runway. I've actually never flown out of LaGuardia. I've flown into JFK once. I've never flown out of LaGuardia. I've flown out of Baltimore. Never here. I don't think I have any good air traffic control stories here. The bad one, thankfully, didn't involve me or anybody that I knew. But out of Teterboro, he had a controller on duty, and he was dealing with, I believe it's a tourist helicopter, and a departure, I believe, right out of Teterboro. And so there's VFR corridors, because this airspace around New York City is just absolutely monstrously complex. And so because of the tourists and to allow for VFR flight around the city, they have very specific VFR corridors that everybody has to adhere to if you're just flying under visual flight rules. And so they had this tourist helicopter out and about, and he was talking to the Teterboro local controller, and the local controller is the one that deals with the aircraft in the air. The ground controller is the one that deals with them on the ground. And you have clearance delivery and all this other stuff. But so the local controller clears a aircraft for takeoff. I forget exactly what kind of aircraft it was. I want to say Bonanza or something. I'm not 100% positive. It's been years. And there's takeoff, and they issue traffic on both aircraft. So he issues aircraft or traffic to both aircraft about each other. Now, mind you, both of these aircraft are VFR. Visual flight rules. Rule number 1: see and avoid other airplanes. And the helicopter actually called the departing aircraft in sight, and he said, "I will maintain visual separation." He did not. And they had a midair.
Tower
And
Aurora 7-1 at runway 22 ready
because of
for
that,
departure to the south.
you know, there's obviously, as
Aurora
there should be,
71 altimeter 30.15
investigation.
winds 2 tree at 5. South departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 22.
Cleared for takeoff runway 22
landing
Aurora
flaps.
7-1.
check the land, check the approach. Nobody's gonna come and smush us. Alright, so this guy does everything he's supposed to. The VFR helicopter says, "I have in sight. I will maintain visual separation." He does not. These propeller, these ground friction of the propeller tables are going to kill me. So midair, a bunch of people get killed. Awful. So they go back, just like any investigation, and they pull the tapes. And this guy, while he's talking to aircraft, is on a landline, chatting up a girl in
Aurora 71 continue for south
I think it was
departure.
flight ops or base ops too. I mean, just
Tower Aurora
chatting
7-1
her.
continue for south departure.
So because of that, they nailed him. They gave him a contributing factor, and he got faulted for it. Which, I mean, you shouldn't be doing that. Don't get me wrong. Like, you should not be out here chatting up people on landlines while you're working traffic. You should not be doing that. How high up do I want to go? Let's just do So like what I'm doing right now is highly illegal if you're gonna be flying around New York City. So because this is not a VFR corridor whatsoever. You can look it up in the charts, and it all depicts everything and explains everything in text. But this isn't how you do it. So I know you see all these freaking streamers and content creators, and you know, I've seen a few flight sim folks in there, and like just put this disclaimer in front of their the beginning of the videos, and they're like, "I'm not an instructor. Please don't do what I'm doing. Don't take this as flight instruction. Don't do this and that." And it's like, look. If you're dumb enough to come out here and do this, you're dumb enough for the repercussions, and don't come after me. Stayed in New York City once. So I flew out. That's a hilarious story. One which the wife just laughs at. My friends laughed at it whenever I came home. Just an absolute miserable experience. So talking to this girl from St. Petersburg, Russia, and she's like, I have credit for an airline ticket to New York. I was like, well, I've never been to New York. Let's go out there, hang out. So we did. And this girl was batshit crazy. Nice, but different in a crazy way. That's not your word. And it was essentially like the first 24 hours were really fun, and like everything after that. We were there for like 4 days or something, and it was just, we did not get along. We were not programmed the same way. And I went home. Came back to Marquette, and one of the other guys that worked at the tower with me, when he was stationed, so we were both military, and so he was Army, and when he was in Germany, he was dating Russian girl, and I went back and told him the story, and he's just laughing at me. He's like, dude, you did it all wrong. Oh, what the hell are you talking about? I was like, I was really nice to her and all this other kind of stuff. Like, I was like, I don't understand why she was acting the way she was acting. He was just like, dude, he's like, you weren't a dick. And I was like, well, I'm not a dick. He's like, well, you understand that, but she's used to Russian guys. Apparently Russian guys are all assholes. So in order not to be crushed in a relationship, women have to be just as aggressive. And I didn't know that. And so he was just laughing at me. That's my New York story. I had a good time. I mean, I had a good time as far as experiencing New York City. Like, we did stuff. You know, we went to the symphony, and we did a whole bunch of really cool things. I mean, like, we had fun, but it was like, she showed up with, it was January, alright? Freaking January. And she shows up, she like doesn't have a hat, she doesn't have gloves, she doesn't like know, like, you live in freaking St. Petersburg, Russia. Like, I know it gets hot, I know it gets cold there. Like, why do you not have things? And I was telling my buddy this, and he was like, it was a test. I was like, what do you mean it's a test? He was like, well, if she's serious about being in a relationship with you and she's going to move here and you know, get married, whatever, yada, yada, yada. He was like, she's testing you to see if you can provide for her. And there was really, as weird as it sounds, like there was like nowhere that had any winter stuff. Like for some reason, at the end of January, or the middle of January, whenever the hell it was, like there was like no winter stuff except for like street vendors. And like, because she would just went on an absolute shopping spree. I don't even know how much money this woman had. Cash. She had cash. And she just filled up suitcase after suitcase. Like, I want to say suitcase, like, she didn't have like 10 suitcases, but like she had like 2 suitcases. And she came with like only one, like half full, and she left both suitcases filled. And they just went crazy for jeans. And we had to go all over the place looking for Paul Mitchell. Paul Mitchell beauty products. Paul Mitchell. Paul Mitchell. That's what you always say. You know, Paul Mitchell's junk. We're in New York City. You know how much cool stuff you can get as far as beauty products go. Nope. Paul Mitchell. I want the Paul Mitchell. We're freaking Macy's. I feel like an asshole going up to the employee there. Like, hey, we need Paul Mitchell. She's like, she just stares at me. I'm like, don't look at me, man. She wants it. And they send us to like a convenience store on the corner of whatever street, whatever avenue, or whatever. So yeah. But, that was crazy. And on the way out the door, or I should say, I got dropped off at the airport. We took a cab out there. And I slept like my flight didn't leave like another 4 or 5 hours. And she's, oh, you gonna come see me? Like we had an awful time by the end of the like whatever days it was. Like we were not talking to one another, and barely talking to one another. And I go to put her on the airplane, and she's just, oh, such a great time to come see me and everything like that, and all this other kind of stuff. Come see me, come see me. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're mafia. And you want to kidnap me whenever I get to St. Petersburg. But yeah, I'm gonna talk to her. You gonna come see me in St. Petersburg? Yeah, sure, get on the airplane. So by the way, we are on our way to a small airport just outside of Philly. And I've never flown out here before. But I do know it took me a good day to figure out how to get around New York City. So we were up on the, I think it was like the upper east side or the upper west side. I couldn't remember where we were at. And the hotel was awesome, very reasonable, like $160 a night. And it was a brand new hotel. And oh, aircraft over there. She gets her flight following.
McGuire approach Aurora 71 is type Cessna Caravan 7 miles north of November Juliet 72 5,000 feet. Request clearance to transition Bravo airspace.
Hey, how you doing?
Aurora 71 McGuire approach.
Oh, actually, that's where we're going. We're going to McGuire.
Squawk 7067 Aurora 71.
Aurora 71 radar contact 6 miles northeast of 2 November 85,000 feet. Cleared through the Bravo airspace.
Cleared through the Bravo airspace.
The middle of the day,
Aurora
you would
71.
never get. And transition through, VFR transition through this. 3rd class Bravo airspace. is there's so many airports. Helipads and everything. I just came off of the McGuire approach control. I'm telling them, like, I got more important things than anybody. These graphics are just absolutely stunning. I'm gonna say it every time I do a flight. This is just incredible. Like going from FS9 and FSX to this. In FS9, we used to have to pay a significant amount of money for Siri with anything remotely close to this. And that stuff didn't hold a candle. This stuff you can hear right out of the box. It's just, it's what it looks like. It's crazy. Figuring out your way around the city. So like I said, you get the subway, and they have like an app. You can put in where you want to be or where you are and where you want to go, and like the A line went right past us, and that just goes straight into the middle of downtown New York City. So we went all the way down here, saw the Empire State Building and stuff. The Statue of Liberty, and we did all this touristy stuff, but just walking around that city, there's millions of people, and you're alone. Like, I just had this feeling of like I'm completely alone here. And there's millions of people. That's just what I was like. You don't know anybody. I'm sure I'm sure people would make friends. I'm sure people would grow up there, have friends and circles of close friends and acquaintances and family and everything like that. So I'm sure like they're not. But like, I live in a small town, and people that are like, I want the big city experience. And I'm from Pittsburgh, so like I got like a small city experience. I could never do it. I could live in that kind of environment. Like I said, I live in a small town. I don't know people, but I recognize them. I recognize a lot of people. So I'll take living in rural America any day. The big city, you're just some anonymous entity. Some people like it. My boss's daughter they were born in actually South Dakota. One of the Air Force bases out there, not McGuire. Grand Forks. So they were at Grand Forks, moved to Marquette, Michigan, and his youngest daughter, New York City, or I'm sorry, Chicago. And loves it, absolutely loves it. About 15 miles out.
McGuire Tower, Aurora, 7116 miles, northeast, 5,000 feet to land.
Aurora 71 McGuire Tower. Altimeter 30.17, wind calm, make straight in runway 24.
Fly straight in runway 24, Aurora 71.
This should be easy. Estimate that we have proper VFR cloud clearances. Starting to get some jitters with these clouds. Think that, because I got a decent computer, but I don't think my RAM is up to par. I think I could use some faster RAM. Yeah, maybe that's the airport. So let's go ahead and start now. Normally, I would have looked at an airport diagram and I'd have been able to ascertain exactly what the runway configuration would look like as I was coming in. You know, it helped translate what I'm seeing out the window. It'd be just as simple, however many lines representing the runways, the runway orientation, and an arrow, the direction that I was coming from. That would help. So, like coming into so this is Joint Base McGuire. So, coming into an actual military base, you would need a PPR, which is prior permission to request for your wheels to touch down on the airport.
Aurora 71, wind 272 at 5. Clear to land runway 24.
Security forces would just live to rip
Clear
you out
to
of your
land runway
airplane.
24, Aurora 71.
They live for that stuff. In Shaw Air Force Base, we watched them yank out the was in charge of the airfield. Jack him up right there on the ramp. It's like, hey, look, this guy so-and-so. He broke red. He drove where he wasn't supposed to. And security forces yanked him out of the vehicle, threw him on the ground, put an M16 in the back of his head. So we're super high here. Wonder if you can forward slip the airplane. See if that actually works. Yeah, it does. I'll be damned.
500.
Now, you don't want to usually do this for a long period of time on the airframe because the airframe doesn't like to be all cockeyed coming down approach or in flight. But it does help because it just dumps altitude. C-17s all on the ramp, which is essentially what they have here. Flight sim is way harder. And
Aurora 7-1, turn next taxiway.
you just can't feel the plane. Normally you start cleaning the airplane up after you get off the runway, but why waste time? Try and do your checklist on the fly, so you don't waste a lot
Aurora
of
7-1,
time.
exit runway when able.
Okay, fine, man. If I'd have known there wasn't another taxiway for 4 miles, I'd have turned. I'd have gone Brinders a little bit earlier and turned off the runway back there. But we're just gonna have to roll out to the end.
Aurora 7-1, turn next taxiway.
I couldn't tell if there was a taxiway back there that I missed, whatever the chevrons disappeared, but
Aurora 7-1, contact ground on 121.8.
so this base is another base I flew out of.
121.8 Aurora 7-1. McGuire ground Aurora 71 request taxi to parking.
Aurora 71 taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway Charlie.
Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway Charlie Aurora 71.
Still getting used to my rudder pedals again. I have to take them apart, clean stuff, because whatever the rudder axis potentiometer was just garbage. And I went in there and fooled around with it, twisted it around a bunch of times, and lo and behold, fixed it. So I don't know if there was just a piece of debris stuck in there or whatever, but that fixed it. They're still not very good. I think they're the CH Pro pedals, but they're no less than 20 years old. Real world, I would have asked for a 180 on the runway. So taxiing all over Grace's creation. So it's tough to find military aircraft in flight sim using real world flight, stuff like FlightAware. I forget which software this one uses. But, because military don't really use FlightAware. Plus. BTVM. But I do know, like in FS9 and FSX, people used to grab some AI models of military stuff. Then you'd have like a military AI pack they would put together. So you'd have, C-130s and C-17s and all this other stuff flying around. That's all she wrote. Turn that off. Kill that. Every time I turn off that number 2, it goes crazy. Kicks me all over the place. Alright. So, that's a little test flight, so hopefully it went swimmingly. And I'll be able to upload this little jaunt to the channel. So for now, thanks for watching. Have a good night. And thanks for flying Aurora Airways.